Lorax. It's quite a long book, so why don't you get yourself really cosy and be ready to listen for a nice long story to relax to. The Lorax by Dr. Seuss. At the far end of town, where the grickle grass grows, and the wind smells slow and sour when it blows, and no birds ever sing, excepting old crows, is the street of the lifted Lorax. Looks very grey. And deep in the grickle grass, some people say, if you look deep enough, you can still see today where the Lorax once stood, just as long as it could, before somebody lifted the Lorax away. And what was the Lorax, and why was it there? And why was it lifted and taken somewhere from the far end of town where the grickle grass grows? The old onceler still lives there. Ask him, he knows. You won't see the onceler, don't knock at his door. He stays in his lurking on top of his store. He lurks in his lurking cold under the roof, where he makes his own clothes out of muffled moof. And on special dank midnight in August he peeks out of the shutters, and sometimes he speaks and tells how the Lorax was lifted away, and he will tell you perhaps if you're willing to pay. On the end of a rope he lets down a tin pail, and you have to toss in 15 pence and a nail, and a shell of a great-great-great-great-grandfather snail. Then he pulls up the pail, makes a most careful count to see if you've paid him the proper amount. Then he hides what you've paid him away in his snuff, his secret strange hole in his grovelous glove. Then he grunts, I will call you by whisper-my-phone, for the secrets I tell you are for your ears alone. Slop! Down slops the whisper-my-phone to your ear, and the old monster's whispers are not very clear, since they have come down through a snurgly hose, and he sounds as if he's had smallish bees up his nose. Now I'll tell you, he says, with his teeth sounding grey, how the Lorax got lifted and taken away. It all started way back, such a long, long time back. Way back in the days when the grass was still green, and the pond was still wet, and the clouds were still clean. And the song of the swomy swans rang out in space. One morning it came to this glorious place, and I first saw the trees, the truffler trees, the bright-coloured tufts of the truffler trees, mile after mile in the fresh morning breeze. And under the trees I saw brown barbaloots frisking about in their barbaloot suits, as they played in the shade and ate truffler fruits. From the rippleless pond came the comfortable sound of the humming fish humming while splashing around. But those trees, oh those trees, those truffler trees! All my life I'd been searching for trees such as these. The touch of their tufts was much softer than silk, and they had the sweet smell of fresh butterfly milk. I felt a great leaping of joy in my heart. I knew what I must do. I unloaded my cart. In no time at all I'd built a small shop. Then I chopped down a truffler tree with one chop. And with great skilful skill, and with great speedy speed, I took the soft tuft, and I knitted a thneed. The instant I'd finished, I'd heard a gazump. I looked. I saw something pop out of the stump. Of a tree I chopped down, it was a sort of man. Describe him? That's hard. I don't know if I can. He was shortish and oldish and brownish and mossy, and he spoke with a voice that was sharpish and bossy. "Mister," said the sawdusty sneeze, "I am the Lorax. I speak for the trees." "I speak for the trees have no tongues, and I'm asking you, sir, at the top of my lungs." He was very upset as he shouted and puffed, "What's that thing you've made out of my toffler tuft?" "Look, Lorax," I said, "there's no cause for alarm. I just chopped down one tree. I'm doing no harm. I'm being quite useful. This is a sneed. And sneeds are find something that all people need. It's a shirt, it's a sock, it's a glove, it's a hat. But it has other uses far, far beyond that. Yes, you can use it for carpets, for pillows, for sheets, or curtains, or covers, or bicycle seats." The Lorax said, "Sir, you are crazy with greed, and there's no one on earth who would buy that false need." But the very next minute I proved he was wrong, for just at that minute a chap came along, and he thought that the sneed I had knitted was great, and he happily bought it for $3.98. I laughed at the Lorax. "You poor stupid guy, you never can tell what some people will buy." "I repeat," said the Lorax, "I speak for the trees." "I'm busy," I told him. "Shut up, if you please." I rushed across the room and in no time at all built a radio phone and put in a quick call. I called on my brothers and uncles and aunts and said, "Listen here, here's a wonderful chance for the whole Onceler family to get mighty rich. Get over here fast. Take the road to North Nitch. Turn left at Weehawk and sharp right at South Stitch." And in no time at all, in the factory I built, the whole Onceler family was working full tilt. We were all knitting sneeds just as busy bees, to the sound of the chopping of truffler trees. Then, oh baby, oh, how my business did grow. Now chopping one tree at a time was too slow. So I quickly invented my super axe hacker, which was whacked 4 toffler trees in one smacker. We were making sneeds 4 times as fast as before, and that Lorax, he didn't show up anymore.